I love guys like this, but there is something frightening about a guy like this. Like, it's a lot easier to play a game when it's for money or when it's for appreciation. It's a lot different than that, than when you have a true competitor that finds himself in a situation where there's a huge crowd and a whole pot of gold. The guy that would be there regardless of the crowd or regardless of the gold, that's your true competitor. That's the one I admired the most. But there was something in the way he said, he made it like a spooky character from a 1980s horror film. I loved his words, though. I loved his message, but I'm not sure I want to put a PG warning on any kids going out and seeing it.
Well, he is a absolute killer. He just said, if I was to say the belt was important, that would be a lie. Joe, we have been doing this thing for years, you and I both know. And all we hear from the fighters is that I gotta get the belt. I gotta get the belt. You went so far as to carry the belt because the visual of us with a belt meant that much. The belt means the money. He's saying, I don't care about the belt. I just want the money. Dude's an absolute killer. He is he's good, and he's got the skills to back up that very scary demeanor and that approach to fighting. When you hear that a fighter just wants the money, clearly we said it's scary, right? But Khamzat's got to be making pretty good money right now, doesn't he?
Now, I've had some real good insights to Chimaev's training. I was able to take a camera down, so I was able to get some access. And Daniel, it is cardio-based. I mean, it's true that the cardio, in theory, is supposed to carry over to mixed martial arts. I'm just telling you, there wasn't a lot of mixture in their martial arts. It was work harder, get your heart rate pounding longer, faster. They worked so stinking hard. But the biggest takeaway for me is where they did it, which was California. Chimaev's always had travel issues. Well, for this one, I can be the one to attest. He's traveled. He's here. He's welcomed. He's going to make his way to Chicago, big time.
This is another thing Khamzat said yesterday, and he said it very confidently. He said, if it goes quick, I'll be ready. If it goes 5 rounds, I'm ready for that too. It sounds to me like what you saw in that training session tells you this man has to go 25 minutes. He's ready for that bad.
He's ready for a long, drawn-out evening. That is true. Hey, let's just get right to it. So many people have questioned one thing about Chimaev's performances in the past, and that is his cardio. They say that he gets tired. And Chimaev has weaponized pace to the same degree, and there are times when matches are over and you look at Chimaev and it looks like he just got hit by a Mack truck, but that's what you're supposed to look like. He shouldn't have energy left. Chimaev should put everything he has into the contest, so I don't love the idea. Have I seen Chimaev tired? Yes. Have I seen Chimaev get fatigued and cost himself positions or points in a match? Never. Never. He's like Fedor Emelianenko. They'll get tired, but they'll come after you anyway.
Everybody's tired. I mean, everybody's tired. Like, when you're on top of a guy beating him up in round 4, you're tired. You're just not as tired as that guy. No. Chimaev has gotten fatigued before, if we call it a spade, but he hasn't gotten so tired that you look like you got to carry him out there into the octagon. The tiredest he's ever been was against Usman in that 3rd round, because Usman's a world champion who can go 25 minutes in his sleep. So you understand him getting fatigued there. But he's never done it to the point where I'm like, I never felt like he was so tired he was going to get beat because of fatigue. But another guy that has proven that cardio will never be an issue is Dricus. Dude, Dricus is a monster. He's a monster. And let me tell you one key thing that people are missing in this. And I love this about Du Plessis. He leaves the fight after beating Adesanya, who they had so much history with. That fight was so heavy, right? He goes and he goes, I'll fight anybody. Goes and beats Sean Strickland again because they said Sean Strickland was deserving. Right after that, he goes, I want Chimaev next. Nobody was saying that. Everybody's saying, well, he needs to win more. Every one of the toughest guys in the division, the champ goes, he needs to do something else, or he needs to do something else. He needs to win another fight. This doesn't work for me. Not Dricus. Dricus looked right down the barrel of the camera and said, I want Chimaev. He's got great cardio too. He's working hard. Dricus is confident going into this fight. So how much more exciting does it make it to have a champ that called out the toughest guy in the bracket?
Dricus' first experience into MMA. I want to make sure I point this out because nobody else will, including Dricus. Dricus has even changed his own past a little bit, but his first fortune into MMA was that of Greco-Roman wrestling. Would you be surprised, the very first exercise that Ilia Topuria ever did was also Greco-Roman wrestling. And I only bring to you, like, Dricus got spotted at the United States Olympic Training Center when South Africa brought their national team out. He was one of the guys. He was 18 or 19, 20 years old, but that was still Dricus Du Plessis. He was still in the rooms working on the gut wrenches, going for the lifts, pummeling and pushing and pulling. I mean, I'm just sharing, it is not an easy guy to go ground and pound. There are some guys where a great strategy is ground and pound. That right there is a tough ground and pound. Dricus is going to be trying to get his own takedowns. Dricus' conditioning has been made a weapon of pace. He's made a weapon of his pace himself. These guys are so similar that it does kind of tie down to, okay, grappling of Chimaev versus striking of Dricus, but not exactly in its entirety. These guys are going to be cage fighters. Anything goes is going to go between these two. And you know what, DC? Neither one of these boys are going to get tired to give up.
I don't think so at all. I watched Du Plessis do so many great things, and over the course of his, not only his title run, his whole UFC career has been an amazing thing to watch because he was the kid that everybody wanted to doubt. Nobody wanted to believe that the kid with the odd style and the kid that was from South Africa was going to be the best in the world. But he told us right away, I'm going to be the world champion. Nobody wanted to listen. Now he's the world champ, and he continues to prove that he's the best in the world at 185 pounds. He did that, and Khamzat Chimaev even said himself, I respect that. I respect that he called me out because not many guys are doing it. Chill. I remember even wrestling. There was kids that every week I would look at that bracket, Chill, and hope they would get beat before we got to the finals because you knew it was a hard night. You knew even if you won, you knew it was going to be, it was never 4-3 as kids. We'd always win 12-10, 10-9, like long, hard matches. You always wish that kid would lose, not DDP. DDP saying, the guy that's going to push me the most is the guy I want to see in the octagon. And that's really honorable in today's mixed martial arts.
185 is so loaded right now. Some people feel that Dricus has nothing to prove in this fight. I strongly disagree. I think that the pound for pound rankings, I think that Dricus is going to get Imanov, Kyle Brawl, when Izzy Adesanya is one of the guys just floating around, when Whitaker is one of the guys just floating around, it starts to show you how hard a division is, right? Sean Strickland hasn't gone anywhere, and I'm just saying, in a division that tough, I used to be the king of middleweight. I knew middleweights inside and out. Partner, they did not have 10 Anderson Silvas at middleweight, but they do now. And if Dricus can go out and look good and get the win over Chimaev, I just think that ranking, he all of a sudden is going to be flirting with Islam's space and Ilia's space. He's going to be flirting with the top three. And I think that's the only way that we know how to compliment him in our industry. We give him a belt, we give him a main event, and then we give him a little bit more. And that top three placing pound for pound is very within reach right now for Dricus.
Well, very rarely are you seeing guys now get there without trying to fight in another division. That's why Ilia is number one now. But you look at Merab, he's like number 3. If Dricus wins, I do believe he'll start to flirt with that. And honestly, I feel like Khamzat will too if he beats Dricus Du Plessis. Khamzat also said that he believes he can be the first 3-division champion in the UFC's history. He said he can go back down to 170 after he wins. Then he feels he can go to 205. So can this man be the champ at 170, 185, and 205? And once you start getting to 205, once you start getting to 205, now that Ankalaev's the man, you got a big dude that knows how to wrestle. That task starts to seem a little bit more unrealistic. When Pereira was the champ, because he was the 185-pound champ, okay. But Magomed Ankalaev is never stepping on a scale at 185 pounds. He's just too big. That's a real 205-pounder. You believe he can do that?
The prerequisite to being able to do that, I'd have to ask myself, Chael, do you believe he could gain favor enough with the organization to be given a chance to get a double championship? And I'm going to say no. Where we sit right now, he has not cleaned out his division. It's a beautiful division. He's done some beautiful work. But when you have guys like Imanov and you have guys like Carl Bow, when you have guys like Bo Nickel, who I'm not ready to write off yet, and when you have guys like Renee Day Renner, well, I understand on the Bo, but I'm just offering to you, it's really deep right now. And before you get to change weight classes, you have to clear out and kind of even be on your second one around the trap. And I don't think that we're anywhere near that. Does Dricus's life get a lot easier with Chimaev in the rear view? Yeah, it does. But it's still not a lock, and it's not enough to start switching classes and looking for double champ status.
So, with that being said, I mean, you and I have spoken, and we thought that Pereira at some point could be a 3-division champion. Still the case? Or is there anyone else that could win 3 titles in the UFC?
Well, I do believe that Pereira is the most likely. Now, I'm giving a real good look to Ilia Topuria, to the things that he is doing and the size and the strength that he has. I also got to juxtapose the youth. He only needs one more hat trick, right? The one he's already pulled off, he just needs to pull that same trick out one more time. But we're years away from him being given that opportunity. If Islam and Ilia get to the point where they got to fight, I think that Ilia would behoove himself to make sure it's for Islam's belt and not bringing Islam down for his belt, in which case we'd have our 3 champions. And I do think Alex Pereira is going to slide up to heavyweight. I think he's going to go to heavyweight, win or lose this next fight. It's in many ways better for pro heavyweight Pereira fans if Ankalaev is to beat him again. But that's a conversation for another day. Will we see a 3-championer in you and I's generation? Yes, we will.
I think that, so Ilia Topuria, I do believe that he has a real chance because, like you said, he would try to go up to 170. Also, Khabib the other day said Islam might have a year and a half left to fight, right? So, like, if Islam's gone and Ilia promised the UFC that he's going to stabilize at 155, we don't know who the welterweight champion could potentially be if Islam is to win and then walk away. I think where Ilia might have some problems is because they get really big at 170. Like, Jack Della Maddalena is massive, and he's really, really good. So I don't understand how, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to have a 3-division champion. I think that's going to be so hard to do. It's so hard to do 2. To think that 3 is a possibility, I don't know, man.